Get ready to rock radio.
Coming from London, the brand new revised Peter Russ show.
Since you've been gone, since you've been gone, I'm out of my head, can't take it. Could I be wrong? But since you've been gone, you cast a spell so brave.
Welcome back to the second part of the brand new revised Peter Russ show. Our special guest today is Russ Ballard. Rainbows, Since You've Been Gone. Of course, that was written by you as well, Russ. What was it like working with Mickey Most?
Mickey was always getting in touch with us saying, "Got any songs? You got any songs for?" And I did 4 with them actually in the end, and I did another one. I wrote a follow-up for that, which they didn't do,
right.
But he did it with a band called Candidate.
Yeah, go on.
There was a song called "Don't Want to Say Goodnight,"
Yeah.
which became, it was top 20.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's played very much these days.
No.
But that was a song that Mickey did as well. I wrote it for Hot Chocolate. It would have been a good follow-up to "So You Win Again."
One of my favourite songs of all time is America's "You Can Do Magic." It really is, and I lost a copy of it, and I went and bought a copy about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was starting to play it, and then I got in touch with you, and all of a sudden I find out you've bleeding written one of my favourite songs.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I played everything on that. I brought the band into Abbey Road. I took a little drum unit,
Right.
little Lynn drum unit into number 2 at Abbey Road, and put down a loop going do. Put down some acoustic guitars, played the bass, played the electric piano part, and then just the boys came in and put their vocals on.
How did Santana then take over Winning? How did that happen?
Well, that was a song I wrote for me as well. That came from my album Winning. I had an album out called Winning, which had, on that album in 1975, I also had Since You've Been Gone.
Mm.
I had which Rainbow did, obviously, and a few other bands did. I had Just a Dream Away, which Roger Daltrey did for McVicker.
Mm.
And I had Are You Cuckoo, which the Bay City Rollers did.
Yeah.
I think there was another one.
You did Free Me as well in...
Free Me,
yeah.
Roger did that, which I'd already done that song, Free Me, with different lyrics.
Yeah.
But Roger got in touch with us, said, I need some songs for... In fact, it was Pete Townsend got in touch with us. I saw him coming back from America. He was on the flight, and he said, He said, I've got a synopsis of a film here that Roger's doing. He said, do you fancy writing some songs for it? I said, yeah, and he gave me this little synopsis, and it was all about McVicker. So we sent in this Free Me, which was a song we already had. But the lyric was wrong because it was more philosophical
Right.
lyric about life, freeing me from pain and whatever. It's more like a gospel song. And then I changed the lyric. Roger said, I love the song. Any chance of writing the lyric for McVicker?
The movie.
Archvillain number 1.
Yeah.
So changed that lyric, and I did he used Just a Dream Away, like that one. So we used that.
You said earlier on about you write the songs for you. I often think that that's the best way to do it. And I mean, when you look back at some of the songs that you've written for people, Uriah Heep, Santana, all of them, they take on your own meaning. I mean, they must be like children, these songs.
Well, it's a very strange thing, Peter, because when you're writing them, to you, you're just grasping at lines and you're using them, but you don't realize there's so much about you.
Yes.
It's only in retrospect you look at the song and you say, that's exactly how I was feeling at the time. Fun enough, with the Santana, I told you about a miracle. I don't believe in miracles.
Yes.
And God gave rock and roll to you.
Yeah.
Well, that tells the story about About the till one day I was on the ground when I needed a hand and it couldn't be found. I was so far down that I couldn't get up, and one day I was one of life's losers. Even my friends were my accusers. In my head I lost before I begun. Had a dream but it turned to dust. What I thought was love, it must have been lust. I was living in style when the walls fell in. When I play in my hand I looked like the Joker. Turn around, fate must have woke her. 'Cause Lady Luck, she was waiting outside my door. Now I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. And I don't intend losing again. It was that story. It's a story about being down and then coming into the light, basically, being sort of suddenly like being reborn. And I was telling that story with winning.
Do you have any religious views at all? Is this about God, or is it just about your inner soul?
Yeah, it's just about life, really, about, how you feel within.
But, you mentioned that earlier on. I got the sense that you were obviously very, very close to your mum and dad.
Yeah, very close.
And so, therefore, that love passes through you onto your children and then onto your grandchildren as well.
Yeah, I believe, I believe, Peter, we're not separate from each other. Right the way through the world, whether you come from Russia or China, Africa, here, wherever, we're not separate. We all have our pain, we all have our pleasure,
yes.
we all have our memory, we all have our culture. We're all scared sometimes, we're laughing sometimes, we're crying, we're angry, and this kind of stuff. We're not separate from each other, and I think if you say something from the heart, other hearts realize it. You write a song, it does something to you that, this is a funny thing, people say, well, you can't be self-indulgent. If you're self-indulgent, no one's going to buy it because it's affecting you, but no one else. But the fact is, the stuff I've done that's been from the heart, that I've written for me, that's given me tingles, is sold.
Yeah.
Even when it's been negative, which is I don't believe in miracles, or winning for Santana, they have all written for me. We're all connected. So, we're not separate from each other. We separate ourselves from each other by saying, oh, it's different from me or whatever, but you realize we're so close to it. We have a different image when we look in the mirror. We have different names.
Yes.
But when you sit down and speak to somebody, if you can get through the language barrier, you realize we're so close, you become friends.
So where do you see Russ Ballard going from here?
Well, I still love music, and I still intend, as long as I can, to keep playing. I play piano every day. I play guitar every day. I go into the studio every day. I love working with the sun. I love going out occasionally and doing gigs. I go out occasionally and do gigs in Germany, do a tour or whatever. And I went and played in Lisbon not long ago. 4,000 people all singing my songs. Doing my own songs, all singing them. For an hour and a half. It was just magic. And they've asked me to go back and do another one. So on March the 1st or 2nd.
What is your favourite song that you've written? Your very favourite?
I don't know, really. I've got so many that appeal to me in different ways. Miracles because it means something. Because it was a period of my life when I was down. God Gave Rock and Roll, which was a period when I was really, really up. I wrote an album as well called Book of Love, which was a whole album was all about, sort of. I wanted to do it. It was a labour of love. I wanted to basically talk about love, different aspects of love. And it wasn't, it was a hard album. It was mainly a hard album, but talk about, every song was a signpost on the way to looking for love. It was feeling down, where's love now? Now I'm feeling down, where's love now? And then all these things I've talked about, like separating ourselves from each other, I wanted to write a song about that was so similar. So I wrote a song called Just Like Me. Met a girl from China, she became a friend. When I learned to understand her, there was much to comprehend. She laughed at my jokes. So many things about that time her memory evokes. I said, just like me, you get angry, like me, you get mad. Just like me, you're happy, then you're a little sad. We can blow smoke rings from the same cigarette. We could write a love song, maybe a little duet. She said, eyes that are shut, they will never see. If you want the fruit, you got to shake the tree. Everyone in the world's playing blind man's buff. Just like me, you're looking for love. Then I met a man from Africa, Dakar, Senegal. Apart from the colour of his skin, he was like a man I knew from Montreal. I said, do you get scared? So do I. Think there's nothing there? So do I. And then he said, have you ever faked love? Me too. Give not enough? I do. Do you state your case? Well, so do I. And then close your mind to the reply. If you said there's no God, then prayed at night. I have, I do, and again I might. Do you get so angry you can't understand? You do, I do, so does every other man. In France or Spain or Timbuktu, what's inside of him is inside of you, and inside of me is in every other. Whoever you are, your mother, my father, my sister, my brother. Just like me, you get angry. Like me, you get mad. Just like me. You know? The idea is, every song was like that. It meant something to me. I was writing the lyrics and putting tunes to the lyrics.
Keith Richards says that the best way to write a song is to dream about it and wake up and just start writing. What's your inspiration? How do you start it? How do you start a song?
As I say, I'm finding different ways to do it. I love to have something to write about, a lyric to write about, where you're trying, or either that or a feel, or say I want to do a blues song. I really want to do a blues song today and then go in and do a blues. Or come up with a title. I mean...
is it the title first that normally kicks it off?
I like a title, because the title suggests whether you're going to do something fast or slow, is it going to be a minor key, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's many different ways to write. I'm going further. I can get very introspective. I mean, I wrote a song called Voices, which they used on Miami Vice, and it did well in America. I mean, it was so introverted that it just, again, it wasn't commercial. It was all, but, you know, I was very proud of that song. It worked on different levels because, you know, obviously a schizophrenic hears voices and stuff. But I was talking about listening to music, listening to songs, listening to people, listening to the pain of people, and listening to what they say, and this kind of stuff. But it
can be
Brian Adams phoned me and said, funnily enough, Brian Adams phoned, and Denny, that was with me at the time, Denny said, there's a guy called Brian Adams, she'd never heard of him. He wants to speak to you, so I spoke to him on the phone. He said, and so we met in London. He said, I want to meet you. He said, I love that song that you've done, Voices. I said, I just love it. I'd love you to write something. I said, I want to produce Tina Turner. I'd love you to write something like Voices. He said, it's so introspective. But we never. I took him back to his hotel. I showed him around Abbey Road Studios, funnily enough. Yeah. Showed him he had never been there before. I showed him around the studio. He was not a very nice man, and we never got together. I said, do you want to write together? He said, no, I'm going to go on the road, but I'd love you to write the song, and I'd love to produce it. But I was quite proud of that song.
Now, you used to just say that you've been working now with a girl called Sada Vidu. Is that right?
Yeah.
What's the story there?
She's a Danish girl.
Right.
And she has a band. They're called Dark Vidu, but I think that they might change that name. But we've been writing the songs and recording. She's got an amazing voice, but she's got this sort of two voices. You know, she's got the kind of operatic kind of voice and a rock voice. Very good. She's got a lot of soul. We've written this album, and with my son, the three of us have done this, and we've produced it. It's taken us 9 months to write and to get the songs down. They're being mixed at the moment. But she's pretty special. You know, she came in with and started to sing us her songs, and she sang the quieter songs in this kind of soprano voice. You know, it's very soprano. And then she'd go into a rock song and sing this rock voice. And she said, "Well, I can either do this kind of album or that kind of album, rock album, or this sort of more operatic kind." I said, "No, why don't you use the two voices right the way through? So we'll bespoke each song with the two voices."
Well, like a harmony.
Yeah, but she does this song. She does this thing, which is she goes into a rock thing, you know.
Right.
But we incorporated the two, but that's her sound. I mean, that's the sound that she makes. So that's going to be interesting. She's very strong.
Well, when it comes out, give it to us and we'll play it for you.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah. Finally, I just want to ask you another thing as well. I noticed that you worked with two of the most sought after young ladies in the 80s, the 70s and the 80s, the girls from ABBA. Yeah. And you wrote for both of them. You had a hit. How did that come about?
Well, it was they were both doing albums. Mike Chapman did the Anietta album, and I had two on that album. I had her single as well in America, which was top 30, which was Can't Shake Loose, but I had two with her. Phil Collins produced Frida. Yeah. And I'd had this song, which I was in the studio, and I just had this drum unit, this Linn drum, and I had this great feel. It went doom, doom. It was when the gated reverbs first came out, and it sounded so exciting, and I felt sort of inspired, and I picked up the guitar and just played dun 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 I can see that it won't be long. And I did this demo, which has turned out a really good demo.
Yeah.
And sent it to Phil, and he recorded it with her.
I know there's something going on.
I know there's something going on.
Yeah. Russ, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Peter.
I can see that it won't be long.
Get ready to rock radio. Music you want to hear.